Hello, I'm Robert Paris, President of Myelin Leadership International. The purpose of this video is to explain something that we could be doing during these chaotic times to improve our mental and physical health, and that is getting in touch with and telling our hidden stories. But before I talk about that, I want to talk about our belief systems, because our mental and physical health and our destiny are all related to the beliefs that we hold in our subconscious mind. And we can actually prove that at the cellular level in the body. And that's the work of Dr. Bruce Lipton, renowned cell biologist who wrote a best-selling book called The Biology of Belief. And Dr. Lipton writes, it's not our gene-directed hormones and neurotransmitters that control our bodies and our minds. It's our beliefs that control our bodies and our minds and ultimately our lives and destiny. And it's critically important that we have positive beliefs. But having positive beliefs just isn't enough. The reason is, while we can have positive thoughts, such as in this environment, I'm really optimistic that things are going to be worked out longer term. The reality is our hidden thoughts could be telling us, I'm really pessimistic. I'm a loser. And indeed, often our hidden stories tell us exactly that. And so there's a disconnect between the positive thoughts and our hidden stories. So it is absolutely critical that we get in touch with our hidden stories and overcome them. The reason it's difficult to really talk about our hidden stories is that they're hidden in our emotional brains. And in fact, our brain is highly emotional. And our hidden stories build wiring in our brain emanating from our childhood youth, our childhood years, our adolescent years, and indeed into adulthood. And they form stories in our brain for survival reasons that impact our lives, our behaviors, and our action in our everyday adult lives. So one of the things we should be doing is getting in touch with those inner stories. And I suggest the best thing you can be doing for your mental and physical health. But why is it so many of us struggle with telling our hidden stories? And I think there's two reasons. One I just referred to, because those hidden stories are hidden in our subconscious brain. So we're not aware that they're there, yet they control our behavior and our actions. So we let our rational brain delude us into thinking everything is okay. I'm really fine. And yet it's not that rational brain that's dictating our behavior. It's the hidden stories in our emotional brain that really is dictating this behavior. But secondly, telling our story and showing vulnerability goes against our evolutionary biology. We're not wired to tell our story simply because telling our story might lead to emotional pain. And the brain is programmed in terms of not to reveal emotional pain because it goes against our survival instincts. So telling our story has to be something that we become comfortable with, because it's as I said before, the best thing we could be doing for our physical and our mental health. So just a few things that we can be doing in telling our story. First thing is actually let's you as an individual get in touch with your story. And you can divide your storytelling into three parts. One is your childhood years, usually under the age of 7, because it's in those years that our parents, who are our sole source of survival then, impacted us. And unfortunately, there's a lot of negative parenting that went on then and goes on now. So you can go back to your childhood years and start to write about what you felt. Bring in some pictures from your photo album to help you look back at those years and the emotions you may have been feeling. But get in touch with those emotions and write them down. Journal, 20 minutes every day. How did you feel and how did you cope with it? You could do the same thing for your adolescent years, which were a source of stress due to innate and very powerful social pressures, and of course the traumas that we face in our adult life. So spend every day thinking back to those days, capturing it on paper, and you don't have to keep it. In fact, I encourage you to rip those stories up. We just want you to write as a means of getting in touch with your story. So that is definitely the first thing that you should be doing. The second thing is then get comfortable with telling your story. First to yourself, maybe to some people who you trust, and then others. Because I could tell you, I've worked with dozens of people who have told their stories and said it's the most liberating thing that they could do. But as I said before, it goes against our evolutionary biology, which is why storytelling is a learned skill and something I can address in a later video. Start to make links between the insights you gain in your story, particularly from your childhood years, and negative thoughts and behaviors and actions in adulthood. That becomes really, really powerful. Once you do that and write this down and understand the impact of our hidden stories, and you start making connections to behaviors today, we can talk about a process that involves writing a script to rewire your brain, which is something I'll do in the next video. So again, please, for your mental and physical health, spend your time now productively. Learn about the brain, write your story, confront your fears, start to do it on a very small basis. And I suggest this is a wonderful opportunity and the best thing that you could be doing during these chaotic times. Be safe and be healthy.